Hi favorites, welcome back to Second Bites with Sarah. Today we're gonna make a roasted strawberry mascarpone pastry. Here we go. Oven is at 375, and I've got about 1 pound to 2 pounds of fresh strawberries, rinsed, patted dry, and now we gotta chop them. Ultimately, favorites, it does not matter what shape you cut your strawberries into. They're gonna get roasted and we're gonna make a really nice syrup out of them. Just make them all uniform so they cook at the same rate. I think I'm gonna go for pretty triangles like this. Get to chopping, toss them in a bowl. Chopping's done. That's honestly the hardest part, I promise. What we're gonna do is add 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, and then I'm just going to toss to coat. All we're looking for here is for the strawberries to have a dusting of powdered sugar on them. It's gonna help their natural sweetness and juices come out while they're roasting in the oven. Honestly, that's kind of dessert by itself, but we're gonna keep going. Favorite cookie sheet and a piece of parchment paper. Pro tip. This will help your parchment paper lay flatter if you mess it up a little bit first. Spread her back out and spread your berries down in an even layer. $375 for 20 to 30 minutes. All you're looking for is for some juices to release, for these to soften, and when we cook things, they get sweeter. So this is going to be delicious. 20 minutes, going in. While the berries are roasting, go ahead and get your next favorite sheet pan out. Same thing with the parchment paper. We need 1 sheet of thawed puff pastry. Save your second one for something epic and delicious. You guys know I like puff pastry, so if you're like, Sarah, what should I use it for? Go back a couple episodes. We are going to make a frame or an edge on our puff pastry square. I'm gonna go about 3/4 of an inch and not pierce it completely, but maybe pierce it about halfway through to make myself an edge. Let me show you. By no means does it have to be perfect. Don't sweat it. Trusty fork. And the inside square is gonna get a couple pokes throughout, which will help some of the steam release. Not your edge though, just the inside. Now we're gonna make a quick egg wash. As a reminder, an egg wash is 1 egg with a splash of water. Gonna whisk that together until it's mostly incorporated. Now we're gonna paint the outside frame that we made, just the outside. What the egg wash does is it adds a little bit of shine and an ever so slight kind of crispy texture. It's just that little thing that pushes yours over the edge of everybody else's favorites. It's okay if it gets on the paper. It's okay if it a little bit gets on the inside. Done. Now, puff pastry bakes best when it is very cold when it goes into the oven. So instead of letting this sit out on my counter while my berries are cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this back in my fridge or freezer just to give that puff pastry as much chilledness as possible. If I leave it out, it's not gonna puff up the way I want it to. Strawberries are roasting, puff pastry is in the fridge. Let's make our mascarpone filling. 8 ounces of mascarpone cheese, Italian. It's very fluffy and light, and it's just slightly sweet. So it tends to go very well in desserts, and it tends to pair very well with fruit, hence our strawberries. Whole container going in a bowl. It's kind of thick, almost like a cream cheese or like a whipped goat cheese. It reminds me of like a milder cream cheese if you haven't had it, and you're like, Sarah, what does it taste like? Mild cream cheese. We need a cup of heavy whipping cream. Teaspoon or so of vanilla extract, vanilla paste, whatever makes you happy. 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. And for some brightness, a little bit of lemon zest. Not enough to make it a true flavor note, but that lemon will help brighten the whole thing up. We're gonna stir to incorporate at first, and then I'm gonna switch over to a whisk. Time for an arm workout. We need this whole mess to incorporate together. Executive decision, I'm gonna get my hand mixer. Whip her till she's nice and thick, almost like the consistency of whipped cream. Into the fridge. Puff pastries out of the oven. I did about 17 minutes altogether in my oven. She's warm, she's toasty, she smells great. I know it's a sin to push down puff pastry. However, while this is cooling, we do want that center to go down a little bit because of all the delicious things we have to put on it. I want this to be somewhat even and servable in that sense. So I'm gonna take a spatula, and while it's warm, I'm going to push down the pastry layers on the inner square. Leave your side crust nice and tall, nice and puffy, but we're just gonna push down that center section to leave a little bit of space for that beautiful mascarpone and those strawberries that are still cooling. Boom! Now, like I said, this has to cool. We have to practice patience. Let it cool completely. Everything's cool. I can touch the puff pastry, I can touch the pans, everything's cold, which is what we need for assembly. We're going to take our gorgeous whipped mascarpone filling. It's like the kind of, yeah, I'm gonna call this the texture of homemade whipped cream. Hell yeah. We pressed down that layer, remember? So we've made ourselves a little bit of room to load this sucker up. I'm gonna slow my roll a little bit and push it carefully towards the edges of that beautiful frame we created, right? Smear that around. When I get to the corners, I just kind of like to zhuzh it along instead of actually spreading it so that it doesn't go over the edge. But if it does a little bit, it's okay. All right, you know what's next? We have these saucy, extra sweet because they've been roasted strawberries. And they've just been hanging out in this pan and the juices are kind of getting gelatinous. It's awesome looking. We're going to smear some of these on top. We're almost done. I would call this rustic. Once we get to this point, less skill involved, right? We're just kind of piling these strawberries on top, letting those juices pour out to the corners and the edges. You show up at the summer barbecue with this. You show up to the patio party with this. What a great seasonal summer dessert, friends. All right, favorites, we loaded her up. Final piece, if you want, remember that lemon zest we put in the cream mixture? I'm just gonna grab a little bit more zest from my lemon and do that on top, more for a visual than anything else. I think the flavors are epic. But just to give us a little pop of color, we love a garnish. Sarah has a hard time not putting a garnish on something. Gorgeous. Let's get her on a plate and let's take a bite. Since I've already got it on a pretty platter, I'm gonna use one of my plastic knives, but I'm gonna cut a corner off, see what we're working with. Check her out. Oh, you guys. Could be a knife and fork situation. I'm feeling impatient, so I'm going right in. My God! This is your summer dessert. This is your summer dessert. You could also do fresh basil on top. You could add blueberries. You can go crazy. Right now, I'm a happy Sarah, and I'm going in for a second bite. Hey favorites, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Second Bites with Sarah.